Alright, this is the Ardi, Sidama Ardi from Evocation Coffee Roasters in Amarillo. Sorry about the lighting, this is the best I really can do. Anyway, this is going to kind of be first episode on coffee, and I really wanted to talk about this one because this is the best coffee I've had in a long time. The best I had probably was about a year ago. It was called the Best of Panama from a local place here in town. And I've had a lot of good coffee since. But this one, I don't think it beats the Best of Panama, but what it does do is it beats it in complexity. Like, this is a crazy complex tasting coffee. The tasting notes are peach, banana, walnut, and berry. I'm not an expert on tasting coffee. This is kind of me just documenting doing it on camera. But if you really concentrate, you can taste all of these notes. The only one I had a hard time actually kind of getting was the walnut. I wasn't tasting so much of the nut flavor. But what I wanted to kind of demonstrate today was, this is, and I will give credit due where credit is due, to Andy Sprenger, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He was the 2013 Aeropress champion, and I've kind of hijacked his method. It's kind of a cross between using an Aeropress, and if you're not familiar with it, I'll talk about that, and a pour over drip. So I'm just going to kind of go over the process and give you my thoughts on what the coffee tastes like after I do it. So I'll kind of talk through what we're doing here. So what you want to do, and sorry, this is like a weird setup for me. Like, my wife got this table before we got married, and I didn't really want the table. So we haven't upgraded to new furniture yet. We're not ready to do that, but she likes it. It was like her first table when she came back to the States, and I hate it. I wish it was like a cool modern square table. It'd be so much more easier to do what I'm trying to do. But we've kind of compromised that eventually we want to get something different. And if the lighting is weird, again, I apologize. This is like seriously the best I could do until I figure something else out. But anyway, let's move on to coffee. And I know this isn't shaving related, but maybe this will inspire you to get some coffee before you do your morning shave. So what we do here, I've got a Bonavita scale and a Bonavita, I guess a gooseneck, and it's got a temperature gauge on it. So what we want to do is pour, you're going to be using 18 grams. The way my grinder kind of works, it actually kind of holds on to some of the coffee. I don't have a, I can't remember what you call it, a doser, so I can't get all the grounds out without kind of banging on it. So I'll try not to do that for the sake of this video. So I'm going to grind about 21.5 grams of coffee. So first things first, this was roasted on the 19th, and today, what is today? Today's the, I'll put a note, because I don't know what today is. But it's super fresh coffee. The smell, it's really strong. I know it's kind of silly to say because it's coffee. Man, but you can just, I don't know, something about it, you can just tell this is going to be, excuse me, awesome coffee. So I kind of filter some water, because we've got some funky water here. And I'm going to measure out, tear my scale. Put this over here. I don't grind the beans until the water is pretty close to hot. We're using about, let me think, 270 grams of water, but I like to do double, so I'll do about 600 grams of water. and get that to a temperature of about 205. What I really like about this method is the Aeropress by itself already makes a really nice cup of coffee, really strong cup of coffee. But what I like about this method is, I don't know, it just makes a real crisp cup. I don't know what it is, but every person I've made this coffee for this way, one, they're kind of like, wow, that's a lot of steps just to make a cup of coffee. And then I just tell them, hey, try it. And then when they do, they're just really amazed at how good it tastes. So that's not what I want to use. I'll use this. So what I'm going to do, you take one of these I believe this is V60. This is actually a number 2, not a 60. Hario filter. If you can get a V60, I think it would be better, but it works all the same. I put this in the cone to filter it. This is the bottom part of your Aeropress. These are the little filters it comes with. And if you guys haven't got an Aeropress, you need to get one. It's just awesome. It's good for camping, good for vacation. Throw it in a bag. It's basically just a plunger in this thing. And, you know, this squeezes down. I'll show you how it works. It's pretty awesome. But this is just like the simplest, best, fastest way, and I've kind of complicated it by doing it this method, but it's just such a good way of making good, excellent quality coffee. But of course, the key is having excellent quality coffee in the first place. So, as we're waiting for the water to heat up, sorry about that. I forgot how long water takes to boil. So right now I'm at 177. So what I like to do is wet my filters, and then as they're kind of draining, warm my cup. Then as they're draining, actually we'll do this as well. I like that to heat up to temperature as these things are getting wetted out. And I will post a link to Andy Sprenger's 2013 championship video. What he actually does is kind of cuts the top of this off so it fits into the Aeropress better. I'm a little lazy and I don't do that, and it still makes good coffee. You just have to be careful that this thing doesn't fall in. So hopefully I won't screw this up. So we're about 196, so it doesn't take too long for the coffee, the water to boil. So I'm trying to get it to 205, 203, 205. So I'm going to grind the beans now. And if I did not mention, you're wanting you can't really see it. You want kind of a fine drip grind. So we tear out our scale, and the fragrance of these beans is so good. Like, this is amazing coffee, seriously. Okay, so what we're doing is in the Aeropress itself, this is the inverted method. I'm pouring 10 grams of coffee. .6, 0.8, 10. Alright, and then I kind of shake it, flatten out the grinds. And here's kind of the tricky part. You take your pre-wetted filter and you can kind of push it around the edges like so. And now we tear it out again, and we want 8 grams. So a total of 18 grams of coffee. So 8. Perfect. And And I really like making this for people, especially like at parties and stuff. It's kind of becomes a talking piece. So now what we do, hit the timer, tear it out, and for about 10 seconds, we're going to just kind of let this small amount bloom. And I actually kind of did about equal amounts. There's not really a specific, kind of the rule of thumb when you're blooming coffee is double the amount of grams of coffee. So if you're doing, let's say you're doing 12 grams, then it would be 24. If you're doing 20, it'd be, 40. So now we tear it out again. And what we're trying to do here for about a minute, we're going to pulse, a minute and a half, we're going to pulse pour 120 grams. And you got to be kind of careful when you're doing this, because if you're not careful, this will overflow. And this coffee, because it's so fresh, is really expanding. The gases are releasing out. And this coffee is just amazing. So I'll give you my thoughts after this, because I have not done it this way yet. And this is one of my favorite ways to make coffee. So what it's kind of doing is emulating a drip at the top into the Aeropress, and then I'll show you the next step. So it's kind of 2 steps in one. Really got to be careful when you're pouring, making sure you're not making a mess, and really practicing dialing in pouring water. So there we go. So we got this going, and I've got a thing over here where I just dump my grinds. Now this part, you tear it out again, you're looking for 150 grams, and there isn't really, you're going to get pretty close to the top. And I always go slightly over. There's not really a specific time on that. Then the next step is I pour out my water. Take this thing. Sorry about that, move that out of the way. Take this, and then the Aeropress, you just gently pour down, or push down. It kind of plunges. So it's not quite an espresso, because it's not up to the number of bars that you need. But there is some pressure there, so you are kind of getting a strong coffee. So it's in between, I don't know, it's in between like a drip and an espresso. But it's way cleaner than that because you've got the filter. So now I pour my water out. We got our fresh coffee. And you can smell, like, it's real bright, even the smell. So, kind of give you my thoughts on this and tasting as I'm learning how to do it. So one of the keys to tasting is slurping. And it sounds rude, but that's what you do. So initially, if you're just beginning in tasting, what's going to hit you is, wow, this is real clean and it's real bright. But if you kind of let it sit on your tongue and then just taste it, kind of in the back of your tongue, you kind of taste like a slight peach note. And I'm not sure if I'll get banana. Yeah. It's really weird. It's just really complex coffee. So you taste the peach kind of in the back of your tongue, and then kind of towards the middle you get like a banana note. And then berry. It's almost like strawberry. And then the walnut, I don't know if they're saying the walnut because it's kind of got like just a real strong base note. And it's really hard to describing taste to me is almost harder than smell. You know, like with the soaps and stuff, it's real easy to kind of say, oh yeah, this totally smells like bergamot or juniper or some kind of fougere or something like that. But tasting, man, it's just so... But I really like this coffee. So this is about a week old now, a little less than a week old. And it's my favorite coffee right now that I've had. And I was just amazed to find it in Amarillo. So if you guys are in Evocation, or in Amarillo, check out Evocation Coffee Roasters. They're just awesome. The whole place, it's just a cool experience. The owners are nice. Amy and Roman, they were great to me, really cool. Got a chance to talk to them for a while. Highly recommend that place, besides the Big Texan, or Big Texas, whatever it's called, where you eat the steak. Yeah, it's just awesome coffee, man. And sorry, I just kind of choked. So, yeah, I want to do more reviews like this on coffee. As far as taste, I give it like a 9 out of 10. On smell, I give it a 9 out of 10. I would say like flavor, and this is not official. There's actually a real system on how they rate coffee, and I don't know how high this actually rates, but it's just super complex. Like, even if you just drink it and you're not trying to focus on the notes. Because if you drink it, you're going to miss the notes. But if you're just drinking it straight black, I think you'll like it. It's awesome coffee. If you can find Sidama Ardi, it's not just Evocation, but they roasted it really well. So, but yeah, and my rule of thumb with coffee is I used to put tons of cream and sugar in my coffee back in the day. And the more I've got into coffee over the years, my philosophy kind of is, if the coffee itself is really, really good and roasted right, you shouldn't have to put anything in it. And I always tell people that are like, oh yeah, I like cream or something. I'm like, wait, try the coffee first. If it's something like this, try it by itself first, because you might end up really liking it. So, yeah, and I've got some other stuff I might show you. I made Turkish coffee. I got this on my vacation. It was pretty awesome. Totally different taste. The French press, I liked it, but this way and the pour over, I think, just standard pour over, are the two best ways. The pour over itself just really allows the coffee the flavors to pop out. This is really good. Probably my favorite way I've made it so far, but I don't know. The first night I had it, and I did a drip, it was awesome. So, so get yourself some coffee, man, and then go shave. So, anyway, hope I didn't bore you guys too long. Just wanted to show you this method, show you the coffee, and I wish you were here to experience it with me, because you can't taste it and you can't smell it. That's the bad thing about the digital world. So, have a good one, guys. See ya.